When you look at this art, it is absolutely beautiful. It really is. And you see how bad the Europeans want it so bad for many, many decades. They didn't want to return this art back. It just, I don't understand how you can value an art out of a black country more than you value European art. In fact, you got this more on display than your own art when you go in those museums. So the US returns Benin's bronzes stolen by British colonial forces. Mm, mm, mm. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without this art, their museums are not going to be very interesting over there in Europe and here in the US. Their art ain't interesting, but African art definitely is. A bronze sculpture of a West African king that was in a collection of a Rhode Island museum for more than 70 years is among 31 culturally precious objects that have been returned to the Nigerian government. The sculpture, called the Head of a King, or Oba, which was held at the Rhode Island School of Design Museum, was among the objects transferred to the Nigerian National Collections during a ceremony at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday. The Benin bronzes were stolen in 1897 when British colonial forces ransacked and looted the King of Benin, which was, now that is modern day Nigeria. Well, it doesn't matter. You know where it came out of, and it should go back to the people that you stole it from. I mean, if you had so much over in Europe, you wouldn't have to go and rape and rob the world. In 1897, the head of an Oba was stolen from the royal palace of Oba. Mm-mm-mm. Ovan Ronmen. So the museum interim director, Sarah Gans Blythe, said in a statement. So the museum has worked with the Nigerian National Commission for Museums and Monuments. So what they did was come together so that they could return the sculptures back to the people of Nigeria, where it belongs, Blythe said. And, you're talking about just a few pieces. They still got a lot more to return. They stole this stuff by the thousands. So there's a lot of work that still have to be done. All right. The pieces were stolen in the late 19th century, including 29 that the Smithsonian Institute Boards of Regents voted in June to return to Nigeria, and one object from the National Gallery of Art. So y'all had stolen goods too. America, I mean, that Smithsonian is loaded down and stolen arts and goods and even bodies of people. Don't think for one moment the University of Penn were the only ones that had the dead bodies of Native Americans and slaves and stuff. All of these museums have that. They all got it. For them, it was like some souvenir. Today, we address historic uh, injustice by returning the Benin bronzes, magnificent examples of Benin culture and history. Lonnie Bunch III, founding director of the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture, wrote on Twitter. You know what these folks believe, y'all? They believe their words should be good enough wherever dark people are, melanated people. Their word should be good enough. That should pacify us enough so that everybody just moves on. What a joke. Through this, repatriation, we acknowledge a legacy of cultural theft and do our part to return African culture to Africans. Mm, mm, mm. The head of king, which is believed to be dated in the 1700s, was given to the museum by Lucy Truman Aldrich in 1939. It had been acquired in a 1935 sale of objects from the Benin Kingdom, from the Nolder Gallery in New York. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so they're returning these artifacts, y'all, but you know what? They've already made millions, if not billions, of dollars off of these artifacts already. They're not returning it and didn't make money. You think about it. Think about how they sold these things to each other, how they have put them in museums, and the museums had people coming in and out of there paying money and all that stuff. Now, museums are free, but they still make revenue from the people that come in there. You know, they're eating there, they're buying, from the gift shops, they're buying souvenirs and stuff. So they're still making money. So when you think about a whole century or more of money being made. Yeah, so it's nothing to give it back. You already made possibly billions of dollars off of it. And never lose sight of the fact a lot of these rich, wealthy people, they got this stuff in their homes. So I mean, so are you really truly getting it all back? I don't think so. A French custom stamp on the interior suggests that it had been held in a French collection. So the RISD Museum said the sculpture is almost certainly one of the looted objects, even though it had not been able to trace the piece to a specific French or British collection. That's what I'm saying. You got the museum, you got collectors that got this stuff. So I mean, even after you give it back, there's always going to be some people out here still with it, with some of it. The bronze head represents Oba, or king of the Edo people of Benin, West Africa. The sculptures were commissioned by an incoming king to honor a predecessor, and were placed in an ancestral altar in the royal palace, the museum said. And they said those palaces, before they went over there and destroyed all of them, they said they were magnificent. I bet you they were. I bet you they're better than these palaces that you see their European folks that are in now. I bet you they look better than those palaces. So, anytime you destroy something like that, that's because it was something that you couldn't recreate. So you destroyed it. We know you got a million and one other reasons, but I'm not going to listen to any of those reasons. So the sculptures were commissioned. All right, so I did that part. So the repatriation is part of a worldwide movement, cultural institutions to return artifacts stolen during colonial wars. Mm, mm, mm. In August, Germany signed an agreement to transfer ownership of the Benin bronzes in its museum to Nigeria. Look at how many of these museums got this stuff, y'all. Germany, the UK, France, the United States. I mean, they just spread it all among each other. You know, it's not even your art. The art don't look like you. The hell? The collection was described the most extensive transfer of museum artifacts from a colonial context to date, and covers 512 objects, which ended up in Berlin in the aftermath of the 1897 looting. Mm, mm, mm. The same month, the Horniman Museum and Gardens in London announced it would transfer a collection of 72 Benin bronzes to the Nigerian government. They got them all over Europe, by the way. Even Russia got these bronzes, but they refused. They have flat out refused to give them back, but they got them too. So it just goes to show you how huge the collection of art was, and trust me, they never saw nothing like that in Europe, ever. They never saw a collection that looked like the ones when they went into Africa. They have never seen that in Europe, ever. That's why they stole it. That attitude of entitlement. They feel they should have it, and the art don't even look like them. In fact, even those Egyptian mummies that they keep, those, when you look at the outside of the sarcophagus, it don't even look like y'all. Please miss us all. So, ladies and gentlemen, we hope for great collaborations with these museums and institutions. This is what the Nigerian Commission for Museums are saying. We have already opened promising discussions with them concerning this, he said in a statement. You know what? You hear them saying crazy things. I remember one time I was watching a video, and it was France, and they were talking about returning the art, and this one woman said, well, where are they going to put it? What do you mean, where are they going to put it? They had it somewhere when you came over there and looted it, didn't they? Africa is bigger than France. Trust me, they got plenty of room to put that art. Is if France can do it, they can do it, and their country, Nigeria, is way bigger than France. So the entire world is welcome to join in this new way of doing things, free from rancors and misgivings, a way filled with mutual respect. Man, you ain't got to respect nothing. Get your art back. Get your art back. Yeah, because they saw all the wealth in this art. That's why they stole it. They need to send back all the money that they made over the past 100 years from displaying and selling and having public viewings of this art. So, y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.